He's over here laughing at it. He's like, yeah, you guys think you're living in this boring reality when really we're messing the hell out of you guys. Hey guys, my name is Mary. Welcome to today's video where we're going to be changing it up just a little bit. I recently did a Sephora haul where I picked up a bunch of new goodies from Sephora. We've got the Urban Decay palette. We've got that Mary Phillips underpainting palette. A couple of new powders. The new Sephora Puff. Ooh, I have yet to try out red blush, so we're going to try out that. We do have the new CL blushes too, so I think I'm just going to see which goes better with the look today. But I think it's a conspiracy in itself that red blush looks good on everyone, so we're going to test that out. A little Lancome sample that I picked up with my points, and we're going to give Ariana's new fragrance a sniff. So we've got a pretty decent lineup. I also have a little conspiracy theory of my own that I want to test in addition to the red blush. These. Now, I recently, in a video, I talked about how I picked up my first set of BK brushes, and then I saw a video of a girl talking about these brushes from Amazon being a dupe for the BK beauty brushes. Let's get ready while we talk about all these things that are making me question my reality. We're going to be discussing the Mandela effect, and even if you're not someone who believes in this type of thing, you'd have to admit that it falls under the highly strange category that a lot of the people on the planet disagree about a ton of things that have happened in our history. Like, at this point, there are so many examples of it that it's kind of hard to ignore. Today, we're going to focus on 11 of them. I'm strictly going to focus on Mandela effects that I personally remember. So yeah, let's go ahead, dive right into it, get ready, and kind of figure out like if the Matrix needs to get it together. So I did go ahead and put on my sunscreen. I also have on my Habru Wonder Black Rice Probiotics Barrier Essence that I absolutely love to wear before makeup. So let's jump right in, and the first thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to play with this Mary Phillips palette. I picked up mine in medium. In here we've got a color corrector, 2 highlights, and 2 contour shades. I do like the packaging. It's quite substantial, and it's, I mean, you know, you don't like it when you buy something and it feels very, very cheapy. This is not. It's nice. It's hefty. It does have a mirror. The pans are nice sizes. Please, disclaimer, I have never underpainted before, so I am going in blindly, and I'm just gonna see if a beginner can open this up, do their makeup, and go outside and not look, you know, like jump scare like. Ooh. I'm just gonna be pulling out brushes that I think work for whatever we're doing here. For those of you who may not be familiar with what the Mandela effect is, I'm just going to quickly give you a small synopsis. Back many years ago, there was a man named Nelson Mandela that was arrested for lots of stuff and different political reasons. I'm not going to talk about any of that. But he was arrested and he went to prison. And then the world started to have like a difference in remembrance of, did Mandela get out of prison and like go on to do great things, or did Mandela die in prison and kind of have like a tragic ending? Which is it? And people tend to remember that differently. I don't really remember that one. I feel like I have a small memory of people being excited that he got out of prison. Like, I don't know why I think I remember that, but I feel like I remember that. Am I crazy? I feel like I remember people just being kind of joyful that he got out. But that's the beginning of the Mandela effect. And then as the years went on, people just started to notice more and more examples of this same phenomena, where some of the population remembers history one way, and then there's the actual truth of how things are right now. Some of them are pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. So far, this is pretty creamy. I'm using the darker contour color right now. Again, I don't know what I'm doing. So now this is the lighter contour color. The one that we're going to be talking about is the Berenstain Bears. Okay? And this one is like, dude, I will fight you over this one. Like, I will cut a bitch. No, I'm just kidding. This one, I remember this. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. There's no question in my mind. Now, the Berenstain Bears. I'm going to call it the Berenstain Bears till the day I die. I will die on a hill for this one. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with the Berenstain Bears. Though them and those little critter books. That was like my jam, okay? And I think that I had so many of those books because this is a little bit reddish, I feel like, for a contour, but you know, what do I know? And then I'm not going to blend it out a whole lot because I feel like the whole idea is that you're not supposed to. I don't know. I'm a makeup lover. I'm not a makeup professional. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with the Berenstain Bears. Like, I read all of their books and I had a bunch of their books. And I am telling you that the Berenstain Bears was B-E-R-E-N-S-T-E. It's an E. The Berenstain Bears. Now, my husband is German, so he kind of jokes around and says Berenstain. But either way, I know it was an E. But now, if you go look, it is not an E. It's not an E. It's an A. My daughter and me were looking at these books at the library, and I was dying. I was dying because I was like, this cannot be real. This cannot be real. I feel like something bit me right here. I don't know what happened there. Nope, not covering up. This is one that literally, I don't know. That one is making me question things in a way. I honestly don't know how we're just supposed to like go on about life when we know that things something's off. Like, something is not right here. How are things just changing, guys? How are they just changing? I realized as I got older that the Berenstain Bears was religious, but like I didn't notice that when I was little. And it always has like little morals in it and like all this stuff. Like, when I'm telling you, I promise you, I was a Berenstain Bears lover, and it was an E. It just was. It was. I'll move on now. I'll move on. What do you remember? Do you remember it being an E, or do you remember it being an A? People would have gone around saying Berenstain Bears. Like, everyone would have pronounced it as Berenstain Bears. And I don't have a single memory of anyone ever pronouncing it as Berenstain Bears. Okay, let me stop. Move on. We're moving on from that one. I'm still probably going to lose sleep over it sometimes, but we're moving on. This one. This one. Okay, because this one is like, I remember this through and through. There's no telling me. There is no telling me any different. Winnie the Pooh. We all know Winnie the Pooh and his little red shirt, right? We all know Winnie the Pooh and his little red shirt. What color was his balloon? Think in your mind. Try to remember what color his balloon was. Am I supposed to blend this out a little bit or just leave it? I don't even know. I'm gonna use one of these Bailey brushes. It's kind of big for this palette. It is kind of big for this palette. So this is kind of small for V stuff, I think. I don't know. But again, I could be using it wrong. I'm gonna mix a little bit of these two together. Getting bold. Ooh, we're getting bold. We're getting bold. Okay. So, all right, I'm about to rock your world, guys. Are you ready? Brace yourself. Unless you've already heard about this and you already know that your world is rocked. They're trying to say that Winnie the Pooh's balloon is blue. Blue, guys? No, his balloon was red. Want to know why? There's many reasons why I know that little bear's balloon was red. Now, first of all, let's just get it right. Okay, his balloon was red because it was a vibe. It was a vibe. He had on a red shirt and he had a red balloon. Like, it was a vibe. It would have bothered me. Like, it would have bothered me if it was like mismatch, because it was like, Pooh had a vibe. He was matching that fit. He knew, he planned out that outfit, and that red balloon went with his shirt. It wasn't patriotic. It wasn't a red shirt and a blue balloon, okay? Not that I'm not patriotic. I love the country I live in. But I think everyone should love the country they live in, by the way. I'm not saying, like, anyways. I'm just saying that balloon was red, damn it. It was red. And let me tell you how else I know. I know that that balloon was red. I need to stop flailing my arms around because I could really get into this. I know that balloon was red because my favorite color growing up was blue. It was blue. Everything. I had blue. I loved blue. My room was blue. I wore blue. Blue. Everyone that knows me, even to this day, people like, it's kind of changed and morphed into being multicolors these days, but it was blue. I was blue. My best friend was green. We still to this day text each other with blue hearts and green hearts. My color was blue. If Winnie the Pooh's balloon was blue, I would have known about it. I would have known. And it wasn't. It was not. It just wasn't. So next we're gonna go in. We're gonna try this new Sephora Tap That Puff. And I kind of felt like this was a good time to test the Tap That Puff because it's like a spongy type thing, and it's a new sponge that's made for like liquid and cream foundations and stuff like that. And so I thought that this would be good to like meld these creams in together. Now mind you, I didn't go ham. I'm not huge on contour and stuff, and again, like I said, I don't know what I'm doing. So we're just trying to do a little everyday glam and test out our stuff from Sephora. That's all we're doing here. Okay, so today I'm going to be using, these are not new, it's just what I had in my collection. The sponge was in the haul. But we're going to be using a mixture of the House Labs and the Huda Beauty Easy Blur. I got one too light and one too dark, which I discussed in the video. I was doing like using a full face of products that I had to have but never reached for, and those two were on there, and since that video I have been using that combination a lot. So let's go ahead and try out this sponge. I really love the original Sephora sponge, the one that you use for powders. So I feel like they know what they're doing with these like makeup application tools. It does have like the little, so you can put your hands on it. And okay, so we're going in with the next one. So this one is one where I'm like, there's a chance, like I feel like that just blended everything away. Underpainting vanished. Okay, maybe you have to do that really heavy. I think you have to like go in ham and like really chisel your face out if you're gonna use that. And oh, the sponge is like putting the foundation off very nicely. I will just say that the creams in this palette, the creams are very nice. They're creamy, they're blendable, they're pigmented, the shades are really good. I just think that it's maybe not for me, not for every day, especially. I don't know what's happening in my face right there, but it's like wigging me out. Ooh, it's wigging me out. Oh, I did wear my what does it say? Ancient Astronauts Theorists Say Yes shirt. If you know, you know. I think I remember this one pretty stinking clearly, and I'll tell you a couple of reasons why I think I remember it. But this one I'm kind of like, okay, am I remembering that wrong? I'm not 100. I'm not 100 on this one. This one I would say I'm like 80-20. Okay, so the Sunkissed logo. Now, the reason that I question myself a little bit on this Sunkissed logo one is because I have never been like a big Sunkissed lover. I don't really drink that soda. So that's why it makes me question, because I can't sit here and think of like, you know, a ton of memories as a child where I was sitting around sipping on a Sunkist. It just wasn't one of my favorite sodas. And actually, when I was a kid, my mom never let us drink soda anyway. So that was just something that we had on special occasions. But the thing that I want to say is they're trying to say that Sunkist logo has like S-U, and like the U and the N are like melded together like one, and then it's the K-I-S-T. and it just doesn't look right. Okay, I don't remember. I'm a very type of like aesthetic person. I'm always like, I probably annoy some people, like especially my family, because if you do something that I might try to like move it a little bit because it's like not symmetrical, or you know, I'm just like, oh no, like it'll look more balanced like this way. Like my brain just kind of like wants to balance things out, and that logo does not look balanced. Like it just looks off. It just looks, no, like it just, I don't know. I'm really liking this sponge. This sponge is nice. Now, I do feel like it might be soaking up a bit of the product. I could be wrong. But okay, yeah, so the Sunkissed logo, it was not like that. Like it, right? Like it was separate. They were separate. Weren't they separate? I feel like there's no way I would miss that. I asked my husband and he was like, yeah, like what? Because he didn't even understand like what I was trying to explain to him. Like, no, it was just like a clear, normal, regular font. And it just said Sunkissed. It wasn't like all wiggly wobbly. So next up we've got 2 powders. So we're gonna go in all over the face with the Cali Ray Magic Hour setting powder, and I'm gonna do just my under eye with the new Sephora Blur It Loose Setting Powder in Brightening Peach. And I thought that that would be like a nice brightening thing for under the eye. This is, hopefully, I want it to replace these 2 peach powders that were in that original Givenchy, could be saying that wrong, collection or powder. Now, I do have a ton of this left. The reason that I wanted to like see if I can do this is because this comes and it's like the 4 different colors. So if I want to use just the peach, I will like take my puff and bend it in half, put the puff over top of the half that I don't want to use, have to hold it and then like dump it into the lid. Like that is way, way too much effort for me. So I don't really end up doing it, but that powder is just so beautiful in the peach underneath my eyes. So that's what I hope that this Sephora powder will achieve for me. So I'm just kind of giving you a little window into my thought process. Oh, and it comes with its own little puff too. So I did pick up a new Sephora puff because I love this original puff. It comes with a little mini, they actually sell these, that new Tap Tap puff. They sell like a mini kit of these too. But I just picked up the big size. This is so cute. I love little mini stuff. Oh, speaking of mini stuff, we got some mini brands stuff coming up here next. But yeah, I love these little, it reminds me, every time I see these little mini puffs, it reminds me of the Asian, like where they're using the cushion foundation and they're like, and then their face is like flawless. That's what I love. They're so cute. Okay, so we're going on to the next Mandela effect. Ooh. So real quickly, I just want to show you, this is like a nice component. This is Sephora collection, you know, so it's like, they always have sales on Sephora collection too, but it's got like a nice, this reminds me, this is exactly like the component of my RMS powder. If you try to question me on this one and say that you remember this differently, I will question your sanity. I will question your sanity. Scooby-Doo. Okay, everybody remembers Scooby-Doo, right? I mean, I feel like even if you're in different age groups, like everybody knows Scooby-Doo because they have movies out, you know, so you don't have to be like an 80s, let me try to call myself a 90s baby. You don't have to be an 80s baby to know Scooby-Doo. Like everybody knows Scooby-Doo, right? Everybody loves Scooby-Doo and Shaggy and the Mystery Van. When I first moved out of my house, I had an extra bedroom. Why am I doing my whole face with this mini puff? This is for under my eyes. Okay, so when I first moved out of my house, I actually painted the extra bedroom to look like the minivan with the blue and the green. Let me tell you, I know some Shaggy, okay? If in my family, we were gonna dress up like Scooby-Doo for Halloween, because every year we do like a family theme, but me and my daughter, we couldn't agree on who was gonna be Velma, because neither one of us want to wear the orange outfit, so yeah, that's a whole nother subject. But we were gonna do Scooby-Doo. I love Scooby-Doo. I wanted to make my little daughter, my little one, Scrappy, because I thought it would be so adorable when she was little. But yeah, so I love Scooby-Doo. Shaggy. they're trying to say that he doesn't have an Adam's apple. Now, I know that this is random, and I know it's like, why get so worked up over an Adam's apple, right? Like, because it was there, guys. That's why I'm getting worked up over it, because it was there. Every time that Shaggy got like scared about something, you know, like a little like about something, he would gulp, like one of those gulps. And every time he did that, that little Adam's apple would jiggle. Oh yes, it did. You can't tell me it didn't. You cannot tell me that it didn't. That Adam's apple was there, and that Adam's apple jiggled. And now they say, there's no Adam's apple. There's never been an Adam's apple. What Adam's apple? Shaggy didn't have an Adam's apple. Oh yes, he did. Oh, yes, he did. And you want to know something? Is he even Shaggy, like, without the Adam's apple? Like, that whole thing where he was like, like, that whole thing was, like, part of his whole vibe. That was Shaggy's vibe. Okay? Alright, so now we're going to go in with the Cali Ray, what is this called? The Cali Ray Magic Hour Setting Powder. We're going to go in with that. I don't like this lid, like, because, look, so it has like something in the lid to stop, like when you close it, to stop all the powder from coming out. But if you want to use, like, pour powder into your lid, that's not nice. I don't know, that kind of, I don't really like that. But I do see you're supposed to, again, it has a little sifter and you can just go, you can just go like that. But no, I want to, oh my gosh, see, it's going everywhere. I don't like that. I want to dump it into my lid. I don't like that. No, no. No, I want to dump it into my lid. Don't like it. Okay, so back to Shaggy. Back to Shaggy. Shaggy had an Adam's apple. He just did. He just did. Every time he got scared. When he saw like a food, because if you know Shaggy, Shaggy was always like excited about food, because the Shaggy had a raging case of the munchies all the time. Like, let's just be real. I didn't know that when I was a kid, but now I know. Shaggy had the munchies. And anytime he would see like some like really good food, like him and Scooby too, and they would get really excited and he would be like, that man had an Adam's apple. Yes, he did. 1,002 billion% that man had an Adam's apple. Cali Ray, I don't like that container. I don't like that container. But I know that I love this. And let's check our under eyes. So let's see how our under eyes are looking. This side is always going to be the side to crease on me more, or whatever, but that powder is pretty blurring. Now, I did not cake up any concealer today. I just used that Mary Phillips palette and put a little bit of that highlighter under there, but I do feel like our under eyes are looking pretty good. Okay, so next up, we're going to play with our Mini Brands palette. I'm just joking, but yeah, I did, in my Sephora haul, I mentioned that to me, it was like, what is this, a Mini Brands palette? Because let me explain to you why. Let me show you. Here's the palette. Here's a face brush. So if I want to... What? Now, this also has these creams because it tells you that this is for your face too. But let's not even talk about that. Let's not even talk about that. Let's go in. I'm going to use a little bit of these creams. We're just going to do an eye look with this palette today. I have used this before. I do think the eyeshadows are really pretty. I think that they're absolutely bonkers calling this a face palette, but that's just my opinion. And apparently we all have different opinions because some of us think that Shaggy doesn't have an Adam's apple. So there's that. We're moving on. This one, okay, this one wigs me out because I actually have seen this one in person, and when I saw it, I did not know about the Mandela effect that was circling around this particular statue. But when I saw it, like, something was off, and I remember saying something to my husband, something wasn't right. So what we're talking about, we are talking about the Lincoln statue. Okay, picture it. It's that statue in Washington, D.C., where Lincoln is sitting on the chair. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to picture it. Okay, Lincoln, how is he sitting and what are his hands doing? Huh? What are his hands doing? Does Lincoln look like he's like a little kind of uptight? Like he's like, you know, like he might kind of get angry, like he's kind of about to ball up his fist? Or is Lincoln just chilling, laying there, relaxed, like a cool, calm, collected leader? Because in my mind, I think he was with his hands rested out, just laying there, confident, cool, and collected. But the actual statue, his hand is more like kind of, you'll see in the picture because I'm going to put pictures up. But yeah. So I'm just using these cream shadows that are in the middle as like bases for my eyeshadow. And they're not nearly as creamy as the products in the Mary Phillips palette, but they are for your eyeshadow base. So I feel like that's okay. Here's the thing. My husband and I went to Washington, D.C. for my birthday. It was actually my 34th birthday, and we went there to see a disclosure fest. And because yes, I really am. I'm not joking. I really am into all of this stuff. Anything that is fantastical, that just doesn't seem believable on this planet, fascinates me, because I'm just like, why do we all just accept these things that we're told when they don't make any sense? Like, you're never gonna tell me that they built those pyramids with a bunch of men and some ropes dragging them heavy ass stones up that giant. Let's not go there. But yeah, you're never gonna convince me of that. So things like that make you go, that makes me go, well, my husband and I went to Washington, D.C., and we went and saw that statue. And when we went and saw that statue, I remember thinking, like I said, I didn't know. I was just like, something is off, something's not right. I remember we kind of had a short discussion about it. He is always kind of like, at first, until he leans into what I'm saying, he'll always kind of be like, you know, at first, and then he'll realize, wait a minute, she's onto something with this one. But I remember saying something like, this doesn't look right. Like, what is going on? I don't know. Very, very interesting. Ironically, we were there for 11/11, which is my birthday. So the whole, you know, like mystical, magical experience. And so we do have two brushes that are looking somewhat similar. So let's give them a go. Again, this slide up thing, like, okay, Urban Decay, it feels like a mini brand's like fake palette, because it's like, it feels like paper. It's like, is the eyeshadow even in there? I don't know. Anyway, those two little browns on the side. And this is the Nikki LaRoche brush. We're going to use on the right side, we're going to use Nikki, and on the left side, we're going to use Belly Bailey Balalali. I don't know. It's like, seriously, like, are we living in some sort of simulation that is having glitches? How are these things happening? Even if you're not someone who tends to question the norm or tends to question mainstream media, even if you're someone that just kind of takes things at face value, just don't you sit back and wonder, why do so many people remember this differently? How is that possible? How can that be real? What could make that a reality? And some people think that it's like parallel realities, because if you've ever heard of like the multiverse theory, where there are like infinity amounts of realities. There's like Earths just like this one, but you know, everything is just a little bit different. There's actually a lot of shows about this. Me and my dad both read a book called Dark Matter that is about this similar thing, where the guy, you know, he's living a life and he like invents this thing where it's like you can jump into other parallel realities, but then his own self ends up stealing like his reality. One of the parallel versions of himself ends up coming and like stealing his life. It's really, really crazy. And then there's also, I think the show is called Average Joe, where it shows like all the different decisions in your life can kind of lead to different paths. And some people believe that every time we make a huge decision in our life, that timeline kind of splits. And the person or the version of you that made one decision goes off into this reality, and the version of you that made like other decision goes off into another reality. And each time you make a decision, they split like that. And so we have like infinite realities. You know what? Okay, so we did the crease color with the Nikki LaRose brush, and then we'll do a darker color in there. It's hard to talk about these mind-boggling things and like keep my mind straight. Now we're gonna go in with the Bailey whatever brush, and I'm gonna go in with a little bit of this darker brown. That looks hella pigmented. Okay. Other theories that some people have are like that we live in a simulation, which a lot of people tend to refer to as the Matrix. I'll try a better brush and give it another shot, but yeah, that eyeshadow is definitely patchy right there. Do you see that? How it's just like, it doesn't look right? Okay, anyway. Yeah, so some people believe that we're living in the Matrix, you know, like from the movies pretty much, like we're plugged into this simulation, and that the simulation, just like any other software program, has glitches. And when those glitches, like if you watch the Matrix, it's when he sees the black cat. Or, you know, people will say it's like when you have deja vu, when you feel like, and I get that all the time. I am like, the deja vu queen. I get deja vu a lot. I couldn't tell you. I'm going in with the Nikki LaRose brush, and I'm going to see if I can fix that a little bit. I'm not going to go back in with the darker one because I feel like that's going to get too much. I'm going to go in with the that medium toned brown and just see if I can like fix that a little bit. Yeah, something's up, but what is the explanation? What is up? What is it? I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you what it is, but I know there's something going on. Because let's go on to the next one. These are not dupes. I'm just gonna say that right now. They are not dupes. I don't know what that lady was talking about. Yeah, no. So that conspiracy is shot. But here's one that is not shot. This one is like, I don't know if we can be friends if we disagree on this one. Just kidding. Fruit of the Loom. Now this is one of the most popular Mandela Effects ones. So if you have heard anything about the Mandela Effect, then you've probably heard of this one. But I had to bring it up because this one literally like blows my mind, grinds my gears, boils my blood. It does all the things. In that Fruit of the Loom logo, there was a cornucopia. Now when I was young and the cornucopia was there, I don't think I knew what it was called. I didn't know it was called a cornucopia. But there was a cornucopia in that stinking ad, man. All of them had a cornucopia. There's no cornucopia, and they say there never was a cornucopia. Okay, how many times can I say cornucopia? Yeah, can I spell cornucopia is the question. But yeah, they're saying that there wasn't one of those things. Man, there was one of those things that you put all the fruit in, like it makes you think of Thanksgiving. It was in there. It had all the fruits from the Fruit of the Loom, whatever the hell the Fruit of the Loom is. It had them there. Right? Picture it. Picture those ads from back in the day, man. It had a cornucopia. It just did. Literally had that fruit looking thing with all the fruits like stacked up in it, and it was like, I think like grapes kind of like hanging out the side, and whoever set it up, they did a good job setting up the cornucopia, because I was like, yeah, it's nice. Like I wouldn't change anything. Like I didn't want to like move the apple over there, or like, you know, scurry the grapes to the side. Like it was nice. It didn't leave me with like a sense of unease. There was a cornucopia in those ads, people. All day long there was a cornucopia. Now I'm gonna go in with the shimmer, and these work better with the finger, so I'm just gonna plop that on with my finger. Thought I had something else for eyes. Did I? What was in my mind? Oh yeah, see, this shimmer is super pretty. Again, works much better with the finger, but like, are these mind-blowing shades or anything? No, like it's not even like it's a very nice like color story though. Like that's what I would say about this palette. Like I feel like I would grab this palette all the time as far as the color story. I'm just mad because I feel like I was lied to, you know, like I was promised all these things. Like it's like, oh, what does it say? It's like the multitasking palette with the creams, the mattes, the shimmers, like shape, shade, define and sculpt, layer and blend and rule bend. I can't bend any rules if I can't get my brush in there. Urban Decay. There's no rule bending going on if you can't get to it. Okay. I'm gonna go with one of these lighter shimmers on my inner corner. Yeah, okay. Next up on the mind is blood. Now, let me preface this by saying, like, I remember this one completely through and through. Every fiber of my being do I remember this not being the way that things were. Because let me tell you, now, when I was young, my dad used to like to mess with me a lot. And to just give you an example of the type of things that he would do to me so you would understand, like, why this, like, sticks in my mind. Like, I just remember this. So, like, I remember I got, like, the Nintendo 64 set, and my dad, he got me Zelda, and I was like obsessed with playing that game. And it wasn't my first video game system because we had Nintendo before that, but it was the first like 360 degree one where it was like the world. It's like you could spin all the way around and everything was just, it was like worlds away from like Sonic left to right and like Atari, you know what I'm saying? So I remember getting that N64. It will never, you know, I'll never forget it. And the game Zelda, like, it was kind of hard. Like, you had to like figure out all these different things. And I remember sometimes I would get stuck. Like, I would get stuck and my dad, you know, sometimes I would be like, Dad, could you help me? And he like got up and he left the room, like, you know, used the bathroom or whatever. And then he came back and I did have something else for eyes. I knew it, the Niacinamide stick. We're gonna throw some of this crazy, insane shimmer on our lids. I'm gonna go in with the foiled side. Yeah, so he like left the room, you know, to go to the bathroom or whatever, and then like come back, and then he'd like sit there and he'd like ponder, and then he'd go, Mary, why don't you try maybe shooting an arrow across that way? And this was actually like an actual example too. He was like, shoot your arrow like across that way, and then maybe that ladder will fall down, and then you'll be able to climb up that wall that you're stuck and can't climb up. And I'd be like, whoa, Dad, what? But like, no, wait, Dad, it's a video game. Like, it's not that interactive. Because again, like N64 was like new, you know? And I was like, Dad, like, that's not gonna happen. Like, you know, I'm not gonna shoot the ladder and the ladder's gonna fall down. Like, the ladder is just like a thing in the game, you know? So I shot the ladder with my arrow, and the ladder fell down. And I climbed up out of that pit over the wall like nobody's business. And I was like, thanks, Dad. You're the best. And he continued to do that for like a couple weeks. He would just like, why don't you try this? I just thought my dad was like the smartest person on earth. Now, mind you, my dad to me is the smartest person on earth. He is one of literally the most intelligent people that I've ever met. Aside from like, just wisdom of soul, he also can sit down and like watch Jeopardy and like belt out a bunch of answers, and then he'll like sit there and be like, oh, I'm not that good, you know. But he's like, oh, Alex, you know, what is blah 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 blah, and may you rest in peace, Alex Trebek. Yeah, but one day he comes in and he's like telling me this thing, and then he's like, you know, I gotta tell you something because I feel bad. And I'm like, what? He goes to his bedroom and he goes and he gets this like book, and it's like a cheat code book. It like tells you like all the different things that you could get stuck or like whatever. It tells you in the book how to get out. And so he knew, and he was just going to the room and like looking up the answers and then messing with me. Okay, so again, we're gonna slide back because, you know, Mary likes to bounce around. So we're gonna go back and we put our bronzer brush. I was able to pick up some color. There is some color deposited on the brush. I still didn't enjoy the process, but so this is when the reason I'm bringing that up is because I remember this Mandela effect because my dad was that like type of personality. So he would mess with you a lot, you know, but like in a cool, funny way. And I remember my dad telling me when I was little that blood was blue. And I was like, oh, he's messing with me again. Like, he is messing with me again. Blood is not blue. Like, blood is red. Everybody knows blood is red. And then he would tell me about, like, no, look at your veins. And I was like, yeah, you're right. My veins are like bluish, greenish color. That's interesting. And then you explained to me, blood is blue. When it hits oxygen, it turns red. And I was like, oh, okay. For the longest time, I was like, he is such a jokester. Like, I did not believe him. And then I remember one day in school, it coming up. And this is why I know that this is crazy. Because I remember being in school, and the reason, because it was like this thing with me and my dad where I just thought he was messing with me. I was like, he's just messing with me. And no, I went to school. I'm going to use a little bit of the Evil Eye palette. Just this bronzing powder, a little bit. So, in school, one day, the teacher's like, talking about blood, and what does she say? Blood is, I feel like the conspiracy theorists are like making everything go wrong with my camera, like the powers that be hear me talking about all this stuff, and they're like, you can't out the matrix, and they're like sizzling my camera, because that's like the third time that I've had to like get up because the camera died, or the card was full, or the camera died, or it just popped off for some reason. Anyway, before we go on, as we were keeping talking about our blood being blue, I'm going to fill in my eyebrows a little bit. This is to benefit precisely my brow. This was not from the haul, but I just need to get something in my brows because they're starting to bother me. So, one day at school, she starts talking about blood. And I'm like, he was telling the truth. All this time, he was telling the truth. And I thought he was messing with me. And I remember thinking, ooh, Mary, watch the brows, oh God. I remember thinking, dang, that's really cool. Our blood is blue, like it was kind of like alien-like, and it was like, that's really neat. And then for the rest of my life, I have even stopped. I even remember when I told my daughter, I was like, did you know our blood is blue? I remember telling her like I was gonna be the cool parent now that knew all the cool facts, you know? Now they're saying blood isn't blue, and it wasn't never blue, and we never told you it was blue. Blue blood is red, and it's always been red. What's wrong with you people? No, what's wrong with you? Because you used to say she was blue. You did. Just like you used to say eggs was good for you, and then you said eggs was bad for you, and then you said milk was good for you, and then you said milk was bad for you. You used to say that blood was blue. I'm telling you right now, the schools were teaching it, the parents were teaching it, because they probably learned it in school too. To be honest with you, I should ask my dad. I should be like, Dad, were you messing with me when you told me that blood was blue? Like, did you make that up, or were you taught that in school? Because I need to know, because now they're saying that that was never a thing, Dad. That is just like, and that's the type of thing, that's the things about these that remember, is just like, because you know when you have like a core memory, if you know, you know, when you have like a core memory about something and you just know, no one is going to tell you any different. That's how I feel about some of these. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Okay, so this one is about the Wizard of Oz. And I know, again, so this is not like a newer Mandela effect. This is kind of like an older Mandela effect, but we're going to talk about it anyway. I'm going to throw on some of the Lancome Hypnose Drama Extreme Volume Mascara into my eyes. Oh, I'm just going to be honest with you. Even though it's going to make me look ridiculous, I'm going to be honest. I was always afraid of the Wizard of Oz growing up. Like, I was just afraid of it. It scared me. I did not like the witch. Oh my goodness, talk about my dad messing with me. Here's another one. If you're watching this, Dad, if you're watching this, he used to come to my door at night because like he knew that I hated the Wizard of Oz. Like he knew it. And he would come to my door at night and he would like, you know, when he was saying goodnight, because he was that dad, you know, he was that dad, and he would say goodnight to me at night, and he would like, right after he said goodnight and left me with like my warm fuzzy feelings inside, he would like let the door close like almost all the way, you know, just so he was peeking in a little bit, and he would say, "I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too," you know, and then he would close the door and like leave me to go to sleep. Yeah, and he, like, I mean, in the most loving and fun of ways, like, he was just a really fun dad. But I just never liked the Wizard of Oz. Like, the witch scared me. Those, like, I love monkeys, and like, I think I came out of the womb making a monkey face. But those monkeys wigged me out because they were like not the nicest monkeys. And now that I've seen Wicked and I see that they were just little victims in the whole story of the wizard, I'm just like, oh my gosh, you poor monkeys, because they used to terrify me when I was little. They did. But I won't say that like I'm a connoisseur, because I would not watch it a lot. It would come on TV and I would be like scared of it, but I would like see it. And then as I've grown up, I have watched it and I've seen it, you know. Now it says the Tin Man with a bow tie. But I know some people remember him having a bow tie. Some people don't remember the bow tie. And I'm like, bow tie? That tin guy didn't have no bow tie? But yeah, so tie. Did the Tin Man have a bow tie? It just doesn't make sense. Like, why would he even have a bow tie? Why would they be like, oh, cool, I'm going to make you out of tin and cans. And you've got like an oil funnel for your head. And you've got like a tin barrel for your body, and then I'm gonna make a tin bow tie. I don't know. It just doesn't seem to make sense. Just like the U and the N in Sunkissed, it just doesn't flow. It doesn't flow. I need it to flow, and it doesn't flow. So therefore, it makes me think I'm right. I'm right. Like, he didn't have a bow tie because it just wouldn't look right. He's over here looking at me, and he's like, don't tell anybody. You figured it out. You figured it out. He's like, literally, shh, Mary, don't tell our secret. This one is one of those ones where I'm like, okay, again, you cannot question me on this one. Like, this is the way it was, end of story. The Monopoly Man. Again, this is a really popular one, I know, but I had to throw this one in there because when I was young and I played Monopoly, and that little Monopoly guy, he had one of those things. And again, when I was little, I didn't know it was called a monocle. I didn't know it was called a monocle. But I know he had it on. Why doesn't he have a monocle now? Why doesn't he have a monocle? I'm going to be using this Rare Beauty Luminizing Lip Gloss in Spark, but before I put it on, just to help it last a little bit and give a little bit of color, I'm using this Maybelline glaze stick thing in Caramel Glow. Yeah. They're saying that that little Monopoly guy didn't have a monocle on. What? Lord, I can't. I really can't. Really quickly, let me, because I have been super curious to just see, I need to know if these are anything alike with each other. So I'm going to go in with the Ambient Light and Setting Powder, and this one right here is the setting powder. I'm going to go in with that. Where is she? Okay, yeah, so I'm going to throw that on half of my face. Again, another problem with the camera. Okay, so I keep thinking that I like put brow pencil up above my eye, but no, it's just a pimple that I woke up with this morning. So I want to see if this Morphe Cloud Light Powder gives me the same effect as this. So on this side, I just put that Ambient Lighting Setting Powder, and we're gonna go with some of that Morphe Cloud Light Setting Powder. Okay. When I played that game, that Monopoly guy had his little monocle on, and yeah, guys, you cannot tell me any different. You just can't. We still need to play with that blush. Okay, so we do have two blushes. We have this Sephora palette blush. Let me see if I can get it open. Lord almighty, can I get it open? Can I get it open? I have this Sephora powder blush, so do we want to go in and try it? Let's do it. We have to do it, right? We have to know. Sorry, CL, you're gonna wait, and we're gonna find out if this. Why can't I get this open? Do you not want me to get it open? Are you just trying to wait for this to sink in? Can't mess up again. What is going on? Can you just open? Oh my gosh. Okay, that's I literally cannot get that blush open. I'm starting to get aggravated. Like, it won't open. I've tried my fingers, I've tried scissors, that blush won't open. I think someone cemented that thing shut. So we're gonna use the CL blush because that thing is gonna give me like a aneurysm. Okay, we're gonna go with our CL blush because you know what, we love CL anyway, so let's just go with CL. And let's go on to our next Mandela effect. So my stuff just disappeared off of my phone. Okay, so here's one. The Looney Tunes. The Looney Tunes. Guys, Looney Tunes was spelled T-O-O-N-S. Okay, the Looney Tunes isn't about music. They play funny little jingles and things like that with the cartoons. But it's a cartoon full of cartoons, and it was called Looney Tunes because they're loony cartoons. They're not loony songs. What the hell is it with this tunes? What tunes? T-U-N-E-S? No. No, siree babo. What are you talking about? No. I distinctly 1,002,000,000,000% remember that it was T-O-O-N-S. I used to draw them. My friend was really good at drawing cartoon characters too, and we both used to draw them. They were the Looney Tunes. I still love the Looney Tunes. I rocked Tasmanian Devil and all those like sweatshirts and hoodies in middle school. I was a Looney Tunes girl. Looney Tunes are still popular. My daughter is 16. She loves Looney Tunes. It was not T-U-N-E-S. It was not. It was T-O-O-N-E-S. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Now, I'm going to go in with a little bit of setting spray. I'm going to use this iconic London Prep Set and Glow. If you've never seen this setting spray, it is one of just the coolest setting sprays ever. It's so beautiful to look at. If you've ever made one of those, like my daughter made one, it's like where you put like glue and glitter and all this stuff in a jar, and then you shake it and you use it like when your kids like are all worked up and you want to calm them down, and they just look at it and the glitter like settles down into the bottom of the jar. That's what this reminds me of. It's like, yeah, anyway. We're gonna finish it off with one that is just, since I lost my list, we're gonna talk about E.T. Ooh, that first spray spit at me. I haven't used this in forever, but I really do like it. You have to kind of want a little bit of a glow that day, and not mine. And since I was really, really matte, I don't really mind it today. But yeah, E.T. If you know me, hold on. Okay, E.T. I have the DVD of the movie. I took my daughters to see it when they re-released into the theater. I know E.T. Okay, I know E.T. I didn't know that this was a thing, and then when I heard it, I was like, no, they didn't. They didn't just try to like change one of the best lines in the movies ever made. They're trying to say, you know how E.T. says, wait for it. He says, E.T. phone home, right? He says, E.T. phone home. And it's touching and your heart just goes, They're trying to say he says E.T. home phone. Is he filling out an application and telling, is it his cell phone or his home phone? No. He was saying that he was going to phone home. Guys, what? Again, I gotta stop saying that. What? I don't know. He's over here laughing at it. He's like, yeah, you guys think you're living in this this you know, just boring reality, when really we're messing the hell out of you guys. Let me stop. I don't know, but who else believes in Bigfoot? We went to this like Bigfoot museum we took our daughters to when we went to Georgia on vacation last summer, and there was a lot of cool stuff, and they even had like Bigfoot poop. But that's like a conspiracy of things that exist, not like things changing reality. Okay, so I'm gonna throw on a little bit of this Ariana Grande Plush Vanilla. Now, I've worn this twice. I'm not blown away. She was trying really hard to marry together the like gourmand and vanilla, and I don't know, I think it fell flat a little bit. It doesn't woo me. I don't feel wooed. I'm definitely not in love. Oh, it's called Plush Vanilla, not Love Notes. Oh no, it's called Love Notes. It says both on the jar. Let's check and see if they look the same. What do you think? I do feel like that Morphe powder holds its own. It's very, very pretty. Did I forget anything? I probably did, and if I did, I'm sorry, but let me just, I will real quickly, we'll just say like yes or no. No. Yeah, no, I don't really like it. It's not. These are good, but I did just do a video about some $8 sticks that are very, very similar to these. So do I like it? Yes. But do I need to spend $38 to get me some more of these? And no. No. The Lancome mascara, I've had this sample before. I do kind of like this mascara. This wasn't new, the lip gloss, but I do love it. It was actually in one of my favorites videos because it's a very, very good formula gloss. That puff, the Sephora Tap Tap Puff, super winner. We know that the original puff is a winner. What else did we try out here today? I'm like forgetting. I couldn't get this. I could not get this open. What in God's green earth? So in another video we will try and see if red blush looks good on everybody, because I can't see it looking good on me, but I know that it doesn't actually look red when it actually gets on everybody. Like, I get it. I've seen everyone. It looks pink. I get it. But I don't know. I don't know. I feel kind of like red. And then the setting powders. These are both really good. These are both really, really good. I do not like the container on this. Like that needs to go. I don't know what they were thinking with that one, but that one needs to go. And this blush is actually really nice. It's subtle, but I like that because I'm not huge on blush. So unless I'm trying to go, probably why I'm scared of the red blush. I'm getting into my blush era. I'm really delving into trying different colors, and that's why I picked this up, and I do really like this. It kind of is reminding me of my Tower 28 Long Beach Iced Tea though. A little bit. I need to test them and see if they look too similar to each other, because I like to just have kind of one of each color. I hope you enjoyed just a little bit seeing me play with all the new stuff that I got from Sephora and just chit-chatting about the Mandela effect and like what the hell is really going on. Like, I honestly don't know. There are tons of other examples. If you've never heard of it before, look it up. It will blow your mind. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of things. If none of the ones that I mentioned today kind of blow your mind because you can't like remember one way or the other, check them out and you will find something on there that just makes you go. If you enjoyed today's video, have a quick moment to like, comment, or subscribe. I would truly be grateful, and I'll see you in the next one.